What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook podcast and live stream recording here for Friday's 12-game main slate. James, just a small slate there on Thursday, kicking us off for a big-time weekend ahead for baseball.
John, happy Friday. Big time Friday here. Just wrapping up the Fantasy Alarm and Better Sports Best Ball Invitational on both networks. If you missed it, you could go to fantasyalarm.com YouTube or the Better Sports YouTube, whatever, YouTube you
Yeah, check
prefer,
it
or
all out.
both. Yeah, check it all out. Now on to baseball again after Thursday's slate. No Coors Field. That's the first large omission that I'm very excited for. 12 games, usually a little bigger than we like, but all good nonetheless. Some solid pitching, including Red Sox great James Paxton taking the mound.
Yeah,
Um,
Nick Pivetta moved to the bullpen officially today.
but some good offenses nonetheless. Some good game environments, and I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, so let's just do it, James. Anything available for us right now with Vegas totals?
Yeah, currently we have a few teams that are big favorites, including the Houston Astros sending Brandon Belak to the mound minus 250 at home against Ken Waldichuk and the Oakland Athletics, minus 215 for Martin Perez and the Texas Rangers hosting the Colorado Rockies, plus 185. And Tampa Bay, they're not on the main slate. They're a 640. They have a 640 game. So yeah, those are the only two like notable money lines. Let's
Okay.
see in terms of over-unders. Nothing of note other than Toronto and Baltimore 9.5. Kyle Gibson versus Yusei Kikuchi. Um, that's the biggest over-under we have on the board. So nothing really of note. Kopech, Greinke, and White Sox Royals. That's 9. Dodgers Cardinals, that's 9, but nothing bigger than those. Yeah.
Sure. All right, let's get into it then. Pitching, 12 games, a lot of options here, and a decent mix of good and bad. I would say based off what we have here on the board. Joe Ryan is your top price pitcher at 10-3 against the Angels. Sandy Alcantara going into San Francisco, $9,800. Bryce Miller, who's been unbelievable since being called up by Seattle, he's $9,400 against Atlanta. Bryce Elder going the other side of that matchup at $9,200 are your top 4 price starters on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Ryan continues to be amazing pretty much every time out, coming off 6 scoreless, 10 strikeouts against the Cubs. Third time this year he's gone for double-digit strikeouts. So getting to Joe Ryan, no issue there. Sandy Alcantara's obviously been a little disappointing, I would say, coming off like a Cy Young to this version of himself is a little bit unlucky. The strikeouts have continued to be there even in games he struggled. 7 and 2/3, but 6 earned,
Yeah.
9 strikeouts. You and I have mentioned this a couple times. Like, even though it's 6 earned, at least I know playing Sandy, there is some type of floor given that he had give up 6 earned and still got a 17 fantasy points.
Right.
Like, that's pretty insane. So I'm okay getting there. San Francisco continues to be good to everything you've said all year, like against right-handed pitching. So that's obviously concerning. Bryce Miller has been great. Has allowed 1 earned run in 3 starts. I don't know if this is the spot I expect it to continue. Not that I think Atlanta's just gonna run all over him, but
Hasn't cracked 85 pitches yet either. So
hasn't cracked 85 pitches. 1 walk. Obviously, Atlanta is just like a tougher offense than Detroit and Houston
sure.
and Oakland. So, like, I don't know if this is a spot I'm going to get to Miller. This would be a spot I think I get to Elder, though. Just like need to get in deeper into games more consistently.
Yeah.
5 and 5 1/3 innings. The last 2 starts is not great when you're paying
Love the ground ball
9,200.
outs though. Ground
Yeah,
balls
love the
great.
ground ball outs. Right. And the strikeouts are decent. They've, mostly been 6 or more for a large part of the year. And Seattle's a team that strikes out a lot and just hasn't been a good offense against right-handed pitching. So I would say Joe Ryan and Elder are probably my 2 favorite. Alcantara is in tournaments, and I just don't have much interest in Bryce Miller.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Tier down, Gonsolin at 89, Stroman against Philly at $8,800 there. Blake Snell's Boston, Paxton against San Diego. In this 8K range, what's the name sticking out to you?
In the 8K range, mm, maybe Snell question mark, but Boston's offense has been so good. The only reason I say Snell is because Boston is a team with so many lefties. What are they're still eighth in OPS, so like still ninth in OPS. So
Yeah,
behind Oakland, that's hilarious. So like it's still a very good offense, but they're slightly worse against lefties, and we finally get them away from Fenway Park. Maybe even Paxton coming off 9 strikeouts in his debut.
sure.
San Diego, we've talked about it a lot this year. They just haven't been good. They're 13th in OPS against lefties. That's fine. They have a decent ISO. That's fine. They don't really strike out all that much. But Paxton is an elite strikeout arm when he's going good. Those two probably do it for me. I don't like. We don't want to play Kikuchi against the Orioles. I know. I mean, he's coming off. There's two of his last 3 starts. There's been regression from Kikuchi,
Hmm.
especially in the power department. Stroman has a pretty tough matchup against Philly, and he hasn't looked as good as he did earlier in the year. I don't know. I guess it's just, and I guess we'll see what. I mean, Carrasco only threw 52 pitches in his last rehab start, so that would be the answer given what Cleveland has been sending out there. But I don't have any confidence that Kikuchi's going to throw. I mean, how many innings is he even going to throw?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I agree with you, and it's not really like our favorite spot anyway. So
Right.
I'm with you there. Next tier down, again, we got Reed Detmers against Minnesota, Martin Perez against Colorado, Kopech gets KC, Gibson gets Toronto, Boyd gets Washington there in the 7K tier. For me, I just go with Martin Perez. I know the last couple starts for him pretty tough, but Colorado on the road, a lefty on the mound. I don't know. I don't mind Perez in the mid tier range here. He's cheaper than he's been in a little bit. So
He's cheaper because he's been bad, you know? I don't know. Like we've seen this song and dance 2 starts in a row. He's been a big favorite and he just hasn't been good.
I,
It's
I
just
think
like
well, I think we could also kind of admit a little bit that the Angels obviously
hit
that
lefties well.
yeah hit lefties well, and then Oakland has started to come alive. I mean, 3 homers in that game allowed by him against Oakland. So um, I mean, anytime you get Colorado out of cores, it feels like you're generally in a better spot. But I see your point given recent form. I'm just kind of playing maybe some of the matchup numbers there.
Yeah, and it's fair. Oakland 8th in OPS against left-handed pitching. Like that's good. That's literally top 10 in the league. Anytime you're top 10 in the league, you're doing something right. So, um yeah, I don't hate it. Same thing can be said about Reed Detmers. We know the Twins have a lot of lefties in their lineup. He's been pretty decent this year. Solid prospect coming off back-to-back starts of like 3 earned or less, 7 strikeouts. He had a lot of strikeouts going into that last start, and
Yeah,
then
and
just
then
didn't.
Cleveland doesn't strike out. So
And then Cleveland doesn't strike out. So Minnesota against left-handed pitching this year, they're 28th in OPS. They have a 27.6% K rate. That's the second highest mark in the league. I know we just did this song and dance with Kershaw, but I will go back to well with Detmers. Then it's probably below 7K is probably the
oh
next
yeah,
spot.
I mean like
Gotta-
yeah. I mean, Irvin here against Detroit had a good start against San Francisco. Got lit up a little bit by the Mets, but still had 6Ks. He's 6,700. We talk a lot about the Dodgers' struggles hitting left-handed pitching. I don't think we want to go Steven Matz here. There's not really a lot in this low range. You're just kind of throwing darts. So uh, they got Carl Kaufman coming up here. Looks like he's making his debut against the Rangers for the Rockies. But he had a 7.78 ERA at AAA. So can't imagine that
Yeah.
playing out too well for him.
No, I think if I were to take shots, it would be Ranger Suarez if we got a pitch count update on what it would be. Um, yes, the Cubs have been a good offense against left-handed pitching, but they're striking out nearly 25% of the time, seventh highest mark in baseball. So Ranger Suarez is a good pitcher. I would get there. And I would honestly take a look at Brandon Belak as well. Biggest favorite on the board, minus 225 at home against Oakland. Yes, he had no strikeouts against Seattle, but he's had 19 ground ball outs in his last two starts. He has a 6 strikeout outing against San Francisco. I could see myself getting to Belak. Like we've seen in the 3 outings he's pitched in 75, 87, 80 pitches at 6,200. If he were to get extended to 90 pitches here, I could see a scenario where he gets you 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, and a win against Oakland. At 6,200, if he gets you 16, 17, 18 fantasy points in that range, you're in driver's seat. So I think I would get to some Belak, and depending on what Ranger Suarez pitch count gets to, I
Okay.
would go there as well.
Let's go on over to catcher. A lot of options here at the top. Will Smith gets a lefty in Matz. Rutschman gets a lefty in Kikuchi. We've seen obviously recent power surges from Cal Rowley. Salvi Perez, Elias Diaz has a lefty spot here. So a lot of these guys, it's top range and good matchups for them.
Yeah, and I would be interested in almost all of them. I think Will Smith is better against lefties than his numbers have suggested, or just like the Dodgers in general. I guess that could just be a statement about the Dodgers in general. Like they're just a better team overall than the numbers suggest. So I like Will Smith if you're spending up. Steven Matz has been really bad this year. Things seemingly aren't getting much better for him. So I could get to Will Smith. Rutschman, as we previewed on Thursday's slate, his numbers against lefties are very good this year. Probably not going to get to Sean Murphy. That might be the exclusion of this tier. Um, Real Muto's been really, really good. So, if you want to get there, just 5K for a guy with 3 home runs on the year. I don't know. Hasn't hit any home runs in
You
10
want to go
games.
Romuto against Sterling though? I
Um,
mean,
no, so I'm saying like I'm just more so acknowledging
like
that
why
he's been
not?
really good than
No,
anything
sure.
else.
I just think like that's just not a matchup I'm looking to target. So.
Yeah, I mean Sherman has definitely
Sure,
been
sure.
worse lately. Like he has not been the same guy that he was earlier in the year for in that sense. I don't disagree with what you said though. Like it's not me. I'm just making a case for it. Not that I like am. I mean, I'd rather play Will Smith. I'd rather play Rutschman. Truthfully, I'd rather just play Salvi against Kopech, and I'd rather just play Elias Diaz if we're
Right.
talking about like guys over 4K. Um, so like Real Muto, it's not like Real Muto is the guy for me. If you're being
Sure.
different, like it's not the worst.
I mean, Jonah Heim here against Kaufman. I mean,
Yeah,
3,900 that
that
feels like an
seems
absolute lock play.
smash. Yeah, it seems like a smash.
Kyber gets the lefty matchup here. Um, Maybe that's like it, unless we get until we get some actual lineups out here. Connor Wong gets the lefty in him. Yan Gomes against Ranger Suarez. I know you liked Ranger Suarez, but Yan Gomes just keeps hitting home runs against Southpaws, man. So
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely get there for like I like Ranger Suarez, but I wasn't also sold
sure.
on Ranger Suarez either. I would take a shot on either Mets catcher, whether it's Michael Perez or whether it's Francisco Alvarez, whichever guys in the lineup. I would play
All
one
right.
of those two guys.
First base. Guys are very expensive at the top there. Otani's 63 homer today on Thursday. Goldschmidt, Alonso, Olson, Freeman, all up there. Do you target anybody in this range, or do you look down to, like we mentioned, Mountcastle at 48 and more to the mid tier?
So I definitely think Alonso is in play. Homers on Wednesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. Um, so I could get to Alonso against Quantrill. We know Quantrill is a guy who pitches to contact first. Like he does not miss bats very often. So I'm trying to look at the splits here. Quantrill has been way worse against righties too, at least in the average department. So I could get to Alonso. But I really like Ryan Mountcastle 48. That feels like the first spot I'd really,
Yeah,
really take a look at. Just given the power that Kikuchi serves up and the power that Mountcastle
sure.
has as well.
In the mid tier, like you mentioned there already, Mountcastle. But I mean, at some point, Nathaniel Lowe's going to come through for us. Why not against a guy 25 years old with an 8 ERA at AAA making his debut, right?
How do guys like that get to like pitch
Because
themselves
like
into
other
a
guys,
major
they
league
don't want to like
appearance?
waste their options on. I'm assuming, and there's a guy that can just get called up and sent down without any impact. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, yeah, Nathaniel Lowe is gonna. I mean, the Rangers. It's a or it's a 12 game slate, so like there's gonna be some solid ownership distribution. Like you're not gonna run into like too many chalky offenses, but I suspect that Texas
Yep.
is right near the top
Under 4K, man. Pasquantino's back down to $3,600. Uh,
for no reason.
Justin Turner's coming off of another home run game for him. Back-to-back games and home runs for Turner. He's got the Blake
Yep.
Snell matchup here. Lamonte Wade. I know it's Sandy Alcantara, but what are we talking about, right? Alcantara is giving up runs and home runs and things like that.
Yep.
So maybe Wade not as unappealing as maybe he would have been in years past. Prado at
Yep.
$3,100 down here with dual eligibility. Some pretty good value at first base.
Yeah, some pretty good value. And even further down too, like Mark Vientos,
Sure.
$2,500.
Homered in his debut.
Is you know, and then Buck Showalter
Take a
said,
day.
"You know what,
Take a
dude?
day.
Let's
Yeah.
take a day off. Think about how good it
Yeah.
felt to be good and help us win a game." And
Don't want to get you
you
too
get
much
the
on
day
a
off.
roll here, kid. You know,
Yeah, we don't want to score too many runs. We don't want to give the
right?
fans any hope. Like,
Bad coaching.
yeah, not great, Bob. Not great. Or not
All
great,
right.
Buck. Not great.
All right. Let's go over then to second base. Uh, Mookie Betts is here at the top. Second base eligible. Mookie Betts here at the top. Dio Estrada 55. Lucy Raz is at 54. Simeon's at $5,300.
Yeah, I mean Simeon for me. I mean, I could definitely get to Mookie. I do think the Dodgers are coming around. Mookie is included in that. Like the power has been on full display for Mookie Betts recently. So I definitely think you can get there. Shot is fine. We know he hits righties better. Not going to pay 5,400 for Luis Arias. He's the most expensive when he's been the worst in the worst
Right.
stretch of his season. It doesn't make sense. But Simeon for me, righties. I mean, he kills right-handed pitching. You've already mentioned it twice that Kaufman had no
Yeah.
success at AAA and now is going to pitch to a top end major league lineup that just got Corey Seager back like
Yeah. It doesn't really
recently.
make any
So
sense.
the top six, I mean, even seven, I guess, if you want to include Ezekiel Duran hitting in that lineup, like been really good. And even Leody Tavares, like this is a deep lineup that this guy's gonna have trouble with. So
Yep.
Simeon for
I'm
me at
with
the
you
top.
there as well. In the mid tier range, guys like Christopher Morel continue to just hit for power. So hard to kind of just completely ignore that spot for him there. I don't really want to go against Gonsolin too much there. Maybe Lori Garcia here against Boyd. I know it's lefty, but Boyd's been pretty trash.
Yeah. Eh.
And
Eh. Eh.
okay,
Yeah.
what other second baseman then? Talk to me, man. Who's your targets here?
Dubois back down to 3,200.
Walter Chuck.
Continues to just give you. Well, I mean, yeah, he's so bad. That's probably my favorite value play. Miguel Vargas. I know he's cooled off a little bit, but he continues to just be very productive from a
Mm-hmm.
fantasy standpoint. Let's see what the numbers are for Mr. Vargas against left-handed pitching. Where are they playing? Are the Dodgers an early game? I feel like they're an early game. Are they in LA? Trying to find these splits here. They're an 8:15 game. Vargas, a 281 WOBA against lefties. Steven Matz, though, dude, against righties. 341 average, 940 OPS, 403 WOBA. Like I don't know. Like he's in trouble here. The Dodgers have a lot of right-handed bats that they.
Yeah, no, 100% for sure. Let's see here. Anybody else for you?
What about your boy Pablo Reyes? 2 for 5 with
Yeah,
2
I mean,
doubles and 4
hard
RBIs
for me to expect
again.
it to continue, but I guess until he doesn't, you know.
It could. It could just continue. Like I don't. You're right. I'm not like I don't know. Kind of just been good, right? Like it's guy's kind of just been good.
I don't even know where this guy came from.
I don't know what his background was. I don't know but
He played a couple of years like
he
in
was hitting like
Pittsburgh. He like floated around the minors, and he just can't stop hitting. So
he was hitting like 230 before the call up too in AAA. Like he was not hitting
yeah.
well. So
So I don't know. Let's go to third base here. Devers, Riley, Muncy, your usual suspects are all up top here. Tougher matchups for for guys like Muncy gets the lefty. Tougher matchup. Devers hits lefties. Snell. Those are fine. Josh Jung generally hits righties. Sorry, hits lefties better than righties. I don't know. This doesn't like scream like must play this guy to me. I like
no.
Moncada at 45. Bregman's coming off of a really strong game. Against he's got Waldichuk here. Wisdom has power against Suarez. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in the mid tier a little bit here.
Yeah, I don't love the top tier.
Candelario against
Snell
Boyd at
has been
$3,100. Beatty against Quantrill at
coming off.
$3,100.
Yep. Yep.
Schmidt
I
still
like both
probably
those
in
plays.
play.
Jung 48. I know I don't love the price, and we've talked about it a couple
Yeah.
times. There has not been a lot lately, but it feels like a really good spot. Yohan Moncada 45 feels pretty good. Bregman homers in 2 of his last 3, John?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Question
maybe
mark?
starting to wake up a little bit.
Um Wisdom against a lefty is interesting because Patrick Wisdom has been very has mashed
Yeah.
left-handed pitching this year. So
A lot
4K
more power
Patrick
in that Cubs
Wisdom gonna
lineup
hit.
now, it seems like, right? Just adding Morel just
There is,
immediately gives that lineup a little bit more oomph.
yeah, it does. And when they get Bellinger back, like it only makes it deeper. Wisdom 406 Woba against left-handed pitching so far this year. So I can get to Wisdom 4K. Um Kyle Farmer 3100. Kyle Farmer
Yeah,
3100,
maybe. I still think it's like I'm not going to Farmer. It is versus a lefty, but I think I'd rather go Beatty, Candelario, Schmidt,
Jake
Jake
Berger,
Burger.
who just
I
can.
mean, maybe power, right?
Why?
Like,
Wait, why? Whoa! Why the What is about Jake Berger
yeah,
right now?
I get it. I get it.
What?
Well,
What? I mean,
I
yeah, you should.
usually like him more against lefties
You
than
should.
righties, but I mean, I don't know.
Is Zach Greinke? Does he he doesn't? I
No, you're
mean,
right. You're right.
I don't
$2,800
like.
Jake Burger. I won't argue. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
doesn't
he is set
even be discussed. He's got homer games. What's up? Yeah,
417 Woba against right-handed
yeah,
pitching this
yeah.
year.
That
7 home
works.
runs.
Works. Yeah, I just saw righty, and I was like, usually we get him against lefties, but at this point, what's the point? Greinke's still on the mound, so. All
Right.
right,
Right.
shortstop. I mean, Seager at 48, kind of just running back to the Texas
Yes.
stack here.
Yes. Texas 5-man Texas
Yeah,
stack.
that's kind of where I'm feeling it. Haney against Waldichuk's probably fine. Anderson against Greinke if you like. Correa gets a lefty, and Detmer's here. It's kind of like your mid-range group. No Reds on this slate, so we lose our guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
McLean.
yeah. Ezekiel Duran, $2,800, still just solid, right?
Yep. Yeah, he'll be solid. Yep. Anyone that suits up for Texas.
Uh,
Literally anybody that you suit up for
I
Texas,
agree.
you're in play.
I got nobody else though.
Nope. I got nobody else.
Outfield.
Outfield.
I mean, you're looking at him. There's a
Everyone.
lot of expensive guys.
Everyone. Tatis, I think is fine. Jordan hits lefties. That's going to be a very good spot for Waldichuk, as Waldichuk's very bad. I love Mookie Betts. Okay. Buxton 52, Adolis 51. That's our
Yeah.
GPP darling. Another double digit or multi home run game. He has 320 fantasy point
All
games
right.
over the
Hits
last
righties better than
4.
lefties.
Hits righties better than lefties. Then you go down under 4K. JD Martinez, if you're continuing the Dodger stack, 4,700. Santander, another home run against
Yeah.
lefties on Thursday. All
All he
that guy
does is
does
match left-handed
is hit
pitching.
lefties. Yeah, I mean, it's just year in, year out. Grishik, 43, gets a lefty. He's in a really good spot. Ian Happ, if you're gravitating
These
towards
Toronto go
Cubs.
feel too cheap against Gibson here. Springer and Show are
They
42 and
do.
41.
They do. Yeah, that's the Cubs and Toronto right here in this tier, all
Yeah.
too cheap.
Staya.
All in play as well. Hayes leading off 4K. Profar's been better,
Roberts 4K.
3,900 if you want to get there. Yeah, he's
I
so
know,
boom
get
or bust
spiky.
lately.
Right?
It's like strikeout. No, I agree. It's just strikeout or home
Lane
run. Just
Thomas
pointing it
against
out.
lefty at home. That's the bingo card,
Yep,
right?
that is a bingo card. Yep, Brenton Doyle. I know he's on the road, but he's been
Yeah.
awesome. Gets 3K. Gets Martin
Story against
Perez.
Belak. Chas McCormick gets Waldichuk. That feels pretty good.
I will say Oakland is a little interesting because Ramon Laureano also like coming
Yeah.
into his own home runs in 2
Yeah.
straight games. He's
Been in on the
$2,700.
day. He's got
Um,
still 3K for him.
yep,
Ref
he's
Snyder will hit
fine.
third against now.
Yep, Gavin Sheets hitting in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah.
If we're playing White Sox, like he'll be a
Does Moniak
potential
lead
home
off again
run waiting to
today, or what's the
happen.
deal?
Yeah, he did lead off on Thursday. He probably leads off
Ryan, yeah,
again,
Joe
but like
Ryan,
Joe
sure.
Ryan, I would play like Tavares 2,300, 3 stolen bases over his last 10 games. He's been running when he gets on.
Let's build a lineup here, James.
Texas, all of it. Any Texas member.
What's our
Anaheim,
starting
39.
pitchers group though?
Starting pitchers. I kind of want to take a
Do you think
shot
Carrasco is going to be
on.
on a limit? Probably. Right?
No, I do. Yes, I do. I would play Carrasco for sure. I think we should go either Joe Ryan or Elder at the top, and we go either
Ryan and Elder is $3,800. We might be able to make the.
I just don't
We
think
might be
we
able to
can.
make it work.
Texas is so
Well, we
expensive.
spend down a catcher. We'll go Yan Gomes, $2,800.
Okay.
What was our Rangers here?
Simeon,
Well, we don't use all
Seager,
of them.
Adolis.
Let's go. Do it.
Nathaniel Lowe, 42.
I was gonna say, do we have? Where was our cheap spot?
Rangers. We don't. The Rangers are there. That's what they're so expensive. Leotis
Well, I meant
Tavar
like cheap
is
elsewise. Like, do we do a
2,300.
Pasquantino at 36 to save some money and then play other Rangers? Is kind of where I'm getting at, right? Like,
Yeah, we could.
right, like
Yeah, that's fine.
so
I'm trying to check.
we want
Outfield is cheap.
Seager and we want Adolis. Right. So that's 35.50.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be right. I'm just playing around with it, right? It's
Vientos
Vargas
at
at
third.
second.
Yep. And then do Vientos.
45
third.
for 2 outfielders.
45 for 2 outfielders. That felt like
Santander?
Cubs and yeah.
And then Morel?
Yes. Chris Morel is good. Good at baseball.
Morel or Seiya?
Morel for everything he's been.
All right, so there we go. We got a 2-man Texas stack. We got 2 Cubs. We got a one-off for Pasquantino. We got a one-off for Santander and a one-off for Vargas with our top 2 favorite pitchers, Joe Ryan and Bryce Elder. James Grande will be on your playbook for Friday slate. We'll be in the Discord all day long. Remember, sign up at fantasy.com/all-pro. Promo code MLB50 will save you 50% off the first 6 months, and we have a 7-day free trial going on right now. Good luck, everybody, for Friday. We'll be live at 5 o'clock Eastern to break down the slate once again. We'll talk to you then.